you're going to need the following items to get started. Here I have a 65-foot electrical 2-pin cord. This is all I'm going to need because I'm only using a single color LED. If I was using a multi-color LED strip, then I would need the wire that has 4 RGB W, whatever that one is, I forgot off the top of my head. But you're going to need one of these. You're going to need your strip light. I'm not sponsored or anything by anybody, so I'm not really gonna give you the name brand. I'm just gonna show you pretty much what I'm using. I bought about 4 of these to make enough for 8 Detolfs. You're gonna need something to hold your LED strips. I'll show you what I mean with that later. You're also gonna need your power bank for your LED strips, as well as an end adapter, a female end adapter to power up your LEDs. You're gonna need soldering wire. Make sure it's tin rosin with flux. You're going to need some heat strips. Heat shrinks. Sorry. You're going to need some heat shrink tubing. I will also show you why you need that later on in the video. This is optional. This is just something I like to do or want to do. You need a heat gun, and of course your ammo for your heat gun, scissors to cut these guys and your wires, a flathead screwdriver for this little guy right here, a soldering gun, and last but not least, a heat gun. I tried doing this with a hair dryer to save some money. It did not work. I suggest you invest in a heat gun. I think I got this one for about $10. I'll post a link to everything that I have here on the comments below, in the description below. And again, I'm not affiliated, sponsored, or endorsed by anyone, so buy at your own risk. Also do this at your own risk. And if you're under the age of 18, I highly suggest you have adult supervision with you, because you don't want to get hurt and or burn your house down in the process of doing this. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do, and actually I forgot, a nice thing to have also would be a ruler. Obviously this one goes to 12 inches. I'm going to work inside the 15-inch categories, so I have a longer ruler that goes all the way to 24 inches. If you don't have one, you can figure it out. It's pretty straightforward. But the first thing you're going to want to do, let me get this into focus. Give me 1 second, I'm so sorry. You're going to notice right there, there is a mark, so you can go ahead and cut your LED strip. We're going to cut the first one that pops up, which is going to be this one, obviously. Just make sure you cut right on the line. If you don't cut directly on the line, you may end up messing up the current for the rest. So there you go, we have that. And then I'm actually gonna cut my LEDs at 14 inches. So it's gonna be about this long. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this. I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut 4. All right, now we have 4 LED strips cut to roughly about 14 inches each. I cut it about 2 inches longer than what you would find at a pre-made Ikea or Home Depot, like your options over there. I made it a little bit longer because I want to cover the whole glass shelf. Plus, I'm also gonna lose 2 lights later on in the process, and I'll show you what I mean when I get there later. But for now, we take our little guys, put them to the side. We're gonna bring our electrical cord out, and we're going to cut this into 3 strips of about, I would say, 16.5 inches. And later on we'll probably cut something longer along the lines of 3 to 4 feet. We'll figure that out later, but for now let's just get our 3 pieces of 16.5 inches of electrical cord ready to go. Alright, now we're done with that. We have 3 electrical cords cut at 16.5 inches. The reason I do 16.5 because we are maybe going to lose about ½ an inch later in a different process when we start connecting these things. So now you're going to put these guys to the side, and your next step actually is going to be to get your soldering tools together, because we're about to move into the next process. Let me change camera angle so you can have a better view of what I'm about to do.
Alright, first thing we're going to do is prep our wires before we get started with everything. If you have a wire stripper, this is going to be a lot easier than me. I'm using scissors, which is fine, but the easiest way I found out is halfway through the scissor, you go ahead and you're going to cut pretty much about that same amount. So just that little bit, enough to cover the upcoming connections. But anyways, you go ahead and snip, and there you go, you have your thing. Expose wires, and then separate it just a little bit. That should be enough, and go ahead and do that for all your wires. Alright, after you have your 3 wires ready to go, the next step is for us to tin the tips of our wires to make our lives easier later on. So make sure this is really hot. Your soldering gun, make sure that's pretty hot. I find the best way to do this is putting the electrical wire under the resin core thing, and then you melt and cover the tips. I'll do that again, just right over it, cover the tips, and that's it. You've tinned your tips. You want to add more, you can, but I think this is more than enough because we're gonna be adding to the LED strips also, so you're going to have enough. So go ahead and do that to all your wires that you just cut. Alright, for this next step, I have this tool thing here. I don't know the proper name for this, so I'm just gonna say the tool thing. I have it pretty much holding the tips of the LED away from the surface so I don't stick it to the surface. Also, get yourself something to do this on. You don't want to permanently ruin any home furniture and have anybody mad at you. But anyways, here I'm gonna zoom in real quick. You're going to notice that it says plus and negative. These are your plus and negative signs. This is really important to remember, because your wires actually, red is positive, black is negative. So make sure you pay attention. Do not mess up here. Anyways, that's later anyways. What we're going to do now is add some resin core to the tips of the LED strip. The best way I feel this is possible is actually to melt it away from the LED strip, and once you have gathered enough in the tips, you just drop it. So again, I'll melt and then drop it. I'll add a little bit more and I'll drop it. And that's all you're doing. I'll do it again here. And give me 1 second to go ahead and do it again for y'all. Let me get a better angle. All right. So again, melt, drop, melt, drop. Go ahead and do that to all your LED strips. If you're doing this for a detolf, again, you're going to need 4 strips. All right, after you have your wires and your LED strips prepped, what you're going to do now, and remember, red is positive. So look at your LED strips and make sure you're connecting it to the right side. If not, you're not gonna have functional lights. Let me try to get some focus here. What you're gonna do is lay the wire, sorry. All right, what you're gonna do is lay the wire on top and go ahead and melt what you've already added previously. See how that works out? Let it dry and then do it again to the other side. And that's it. And there you go, you're connected. If you want, sometimes I'll add a little bit more. Like on this one, I want to add a little bit more. And that's it. I'll zoom out. And you have your first LED connected to your wire. So what you're actually going to want to do is go ahead and get another LED, and you're going to repeat the process. Again, it's always easier to work with something holding your LEDs up. Let me zoom in for you guys again. Remember, negative and positive, always remember. See, yeah, I want to add more. Alright, you see what happened? I remelted it and it came off, so be careful. Always hold it. I messed up there and didn't support it. Alright, now go ahead and connect another wire, another LED, another wire, and you get the idea. This step is optional. I highly suggest you do it, not only because it'll secure your connection more, but it may also prevent accidental electric shock, which is something I think about. But go ahead and grab a glue gun. I hope you have one around. And just add to all your tips that you just did. Pack that in a bit so it can get into every crevice. And that's it. Do that to all your connections, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, for the next step, make sure you invest in a heat gun or borrow one or something. Don't waste your time with a hair dryer. It's not gonna work. Trust me, I tried it. I tried it with my fiance's hair dryer, and that did not budge at all. So I went ahead and bought this for $10, and I think it's a great investment. But anyways, for the next step, what you're going to want to do is grab your heat shrink tubing. You should have these cut to about ½ inch. I bought the wrong size, but I'm okay with this size. But what you're going to do is slip that in your LEDs all the way until you get to your welding point, and you're going to stop there. You're going to lose the first light. You're always going to lose the first light, which is why I cut longer. But you're going to go ahead and place it right there. Turn on your heat and shrink the wrap. I can't talk over this noise, but I'll just go ahead and show you. Right after you're done, press it so you have a real secure grip. You're gonna see the bulge of your first light, which is also gonna be your stoppage. This is not going back no more. This is gonna help you with accidental tugging and breakage. It's also gonna further prevent accidental electric shock, which is something I always fear. So go ahead and add that to all of your connections, and we'll move on to the next step. Alright, for this step, we're actually going to pick one of our ends, whichever end you like to be the bottom LED light of your Detolf, which in my case is going to be this one for no particular reason. This is all optional on you. I just need 1 foot of wire to connect to my power cord. Some people may need 8 feet, some people may need 20 feet. This is all on you. You decide how much feet you need from your Detolf to your output. Everybody's different. I only need 1 foot of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect it to this. Same way I've been doing all along. I'm gonna seal it, put some glue on it, heat shrink tube it, and then move on to the next and final step. Alright, for the last step, I got this adapter that came with this adapter that I actually need to finish this whole process. We're going to go ahead and take note of the positive and negative sign. So obviously we're going to flip this wire. We're going to put it in. And I don't really need to show you guys this, but go ahead and screw these guys in. Make sure they're really tight. And the last step, actually, yeah, the next step is the last step, but it's the best step of all. And the most nerve cringing actually too. But go ahead and tighten these guys in. And now the final and most nerve cringing step of all is connecting the power supply to your LED strips. Hopefully we all did everything right and everything checks out and all 4 strips turn on. Let's see. Success. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got this in one shot. I love when I get it in one shot. If you are having any kind of issues where one of the 3 lights ain't working, that means your connection on either end is either disconnected, or you have your positive and negatives wrong, or you may have to go back and check. It's a pain, it's a headache, but you gotta get it done. Anyways, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, comment, any questions you have. I will be glad to try to answer them all. Okay, before I let you go, I just want to show you this also. If you did cut your wires to 16.5 inches, you are pretty much getting enough to just make it, you know, on a Detolf. So that would be 1 wire, 2 wires, and 3 wires. Again, it'll start there, it'll come up, and it'll barely make it. And the layout is pretty simple. Having the power cord exit from this side, you're gonna come up, install the bottom one first, I suggest. Go all the way to your left, come straight up, all the way to your right, come straight up, all the way to your left, straight up,
and finally you're done. The beauty about this is that there's very minimal wire, and if you stand in front of it, you could barely see it. Like, it's there, but you can't really see it when you're directly in front of it. Some you can, but it's not a big deal for me. So again, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment. Any questions you have, please ask. I'll try to answer them to the best of my abilities. More tutorials coming up, dioramas, more lighting techniques, unboxing videos, including these guys, toy reviews, stop motion. There's so much I have planned. So again, your support is going to mean a lot. So thanks again for watching, and you have a good one. And good luck to your light building. At first it's going to be a little bit hard, but believe me, it gets easy. Peace.